What? What did I do? The mumbled. Jungkook tucked his fist and crashed his body against his. When you're going to tell me what happened in the car, he raised his perfectly shaped eyebrows with his jaw. Damn. Hun, they mumbled, removing his eyes for him. Jungkook crept around him, but tied even more. It's that even possible? And he groaned. Why did you ask Hun not to tell me? He asked. No answer. It's stupid, Jungkook. Nothing was wrong. They shrugged, but he didn't believe himself even. If it was stupid, it's my duty to know what's going on in your life and Hun work for me, not for you, he said strictly, and they rolled his eyes at him, at his arrogance. They stop doing that, he said. Doing what? They formed. Dad, rolling your eyes. What? They asked. I can't believe this. Anyway, it isn't a big deal now that your loyal man told you everything, the dead plan. But you also need to tell me that, he said. Oh God, they heard him when. They groaned, pulling out of his hand and folded it over his chest. Why you already know, then why do you need me to say that? Jungkook, who didn't understand his theories. Because I'm your husband, I just need to stop his feet. At that would be completed. Jungkook, he signed. I needed to use the restroom, and everyone is waiting for us downward. Can you please stop acting like a kid? Especially you, they thought. What? I'm not a kid. He threw his hand in the air and had an annoyed sign. You sure? They nodded and Jungkook's head snapped toward him and he narrowed his eyes into the slits. Stop that, he said and stepped forward. I'm not even rolling my eyes now. They formed his brows and stepped back. But you're thinking, stop it. Was he for real? Did he hit his head or something? Okay, they noted at his mind and elsewhere. Who would be trying to chase him and why? And come here, he ordered in his daze to stop moving and stepped closer to him. Was that really a man following him? And they just caused for nothing? I didn't tell you, did I? With lips were tucked downward, they looked at him. What? They murmured, realizing how close he was. That's how much I miss you. Why would someone have something against him? They didn't do anything. And why was the man? Jungkook was just kissing him. They gasped. Started. Suddenly, Jungkook didn't even hesitate to force his tongue in their mouth, making his breathless. His body was against his with his hand on the chest and his around the body. The electricity ran through their veins and he found himself enjoying his touch very too much. The thought about that car flew out of his window and they wrapped his arms around his waist and got close to him. Wait, did he see he missed him? A wishful sign left the young lips and he scribbled the notes of the notebook. Even when he was in his classes, his mind was always thinking about Jungkook. He was acting like a lovesick teenager, but he wasn't able to keep it out of his mind. It was just too good to forget, even just for a minute. Last night after dinner, they both went back to their own residence. They chatted like a normal couple. Not even once got uncomfortable as they thought. They thought he was become too because he was always with him and he was in his study. So they decided to give him some space for that. They didn't want him to think that he was desperate for his attention. They bid his goodbye and then sleep in his own room like he had thought. In the morning, they ate the breakfast alone because the housekeeper told him that Jungkook left for the office earlier today. They sent the text message wishing him the good morning, which he returned with the same words using as hymns. Not wanting to disturb him, they asked the second driver to drive him to the university and pick him up at 3 in the evening. Not only 3 hours, and he left till Hunwa arrived, and he was tired. Last night he slept around 1 in the morning and woke up quite early, so he needed to sleep. Suddenly they felt a rip that made him jump and look at the professor who was glaring at him. They gave inward confused look, who apparently hit him, and then gazed around to see all that eyes were on him. They blushed in embarrassment for knowing what Professor Dan were asking. and looked stupidly at him. Mr. John, will you be so kind to tell me when did the Civil War occurs? He raised an eyebrow. Civil War? It was so easy, huh? Who didn't know that? Everybody knew it. Oh God. When did it happen? It was such a simple question. Then why did his mind would to shut down? They mumbled, and Invo groaned at him. His friend and hissed in his ear. He mumbled the next thing. As he walked in front of his friend toward the university ground, can't you concentrate just for once? I mean, who didn't know about that? It just slipped my mind. They shrugged and sat near the bench. You were clearly daydreaming. In the class, of course, it slips your mind. Enver rolled his eyes. No, I'm just tired. I didn't get much sleep last night. And to point him to prove a yawn or left them out, Invo, who was sitting beside him, nagged his shoulder and threw a tiny wing. Why, were you dirty with your bunny? He giggled afterward. They gave him a look he knew Invo's fantasies and didn't need to shut him up anymore because he said whatever he wanted anyway. And it wasn't like it was to tell him everything about their relationship with Jungkook. Why must you always bring my husband in everything? They signed and rested his back against the bench. Because I ship you both alright, and I am waiting for the day when you both will have the tiny babies. Invo signed, cupping his chin. As if I'll let my children near you, they said. Invo was shook and looked at him. They won't be able to resist the Uncle Wu. I'm too awesome to ignore. He smirked. Yeah, anyway, you need a ride home. I'm leaving and I can. No, my driver will be here in some time, they said. Rich people, Invo muttered under his breath. Why don't you get a car? Why don't you ask Jungkook to get you a car? The young head turned toward his friend. He was right. Why did he never think of this? There was still a year left the university had, and they don't bother all the time, Jungkook. He could simply get his own car. They know how to drive and had drive a car quite a few times. I never thought of it, they muttered. You can simply ask your bunny to buy you one. Invo shrugged and looked at the chocolate bar for his pocket and started nibble on it. Or I can simply buy it with my own money, they suggest. Oh come on, he won't mind it beside. It would be a huge blow to his ego if you went and buy a car for yourself with your own money, he suggested.